Catch-22 is a satirical novel by Joseph Heller, first published in 1961, and is considered one of the greatest American novels. It is renowned for its dark humor and sharp critique of bureaucracy, war, and the inherent absurdities of human existence. The term Catch-22 has entered the English language to describe a paradoxical situation where an individual is trapped by contradictory or no-win rules, highlighting the novel's lasting cultural overview and plot summary of Catch-22. Set during World War II, Catch-22 revolves around Captain John Yossarian, a B-25 bombardier in the U.S. Army Air Force stationed on the fictional Mediterranean island of Pianosa. Yossarian and his fellow soldiers are trapped in the absurdity of military bureaucracy, particularly through the increasing number of missions they are required to fly before being eligible to return home. The title, Catch-22, refers to a paradox central to the novel's narrative. According to military regulations, any airman who requests to be grounded due to insanity can be exempt from flying more dangerous missions. However, if the airman requests exemption, it proves he is sane enough to understand the danger and thus ineligible for exemption. This no-win situation exemplifies the absurd logic governing the characters' lives, leaving Yossarian and others stuck in an unbreakable cycle of dangerous missions. Desperate to avoid further missions, Yossarian struggles to survive while encountering a variety of eccentric and corrupt figures, including Colonel Cathcart. Obsessed with career advancement, he continually raises the number of missions required for the men to be sent home. Milo Minderbinder, a mess officer who turns military operations into his own business empire, representing the novel's critique of capitalist greed and self-interest. Doc Danica, the flight surgeon who enforces the Catch-22 rule, making it impossible for Yossarian or others to escape their duties. The novel's non-linear structure, with events presented out of sequence, enhances the chaotic and surreal atmosphere, reflecting the confusion, helplessness, and absurdity the soldiers face. Through this structure, Catch-22 delivers a biting satire of war, bureaucracy, and the futility of human efforts against incomprehensible systems. Themes and analysis of Catch-22. 1. The absurdity of war. Catch-22 portrays war as inherently nonsensical, focusing on the irrational internal struggles within the military rather than the enemy. Through satire, Heller highlights how soldiers are seen as disposable, driven into danger by commanders seeking personal gain and glory. This absurdity underscores the senselessness of war, with characters caught in a system that values personal ambition over human life. Number 2. Bureaucracy and power. The novel critiques bureaucratic systems and how they manipulate and trap individuals. The Catch-22 is a symbol of this manipulation, an illogical rule designed to keep soldiers from escaping dangerous missions. Figures like Colonel Cathcart and Lieutenant Scheisskopf abuse their power to maintain control, despite the irrationality of their actions. This power dynamic reflects how those in authority often impose senseless regulations on those below them. 3. Survival and individualism. Yossarian's primary objective is to stay alive, making him an emblem of individual defiance against the military system. His rejection of the Catch-22 and determination to avoid death contrast with his comrades' passive acceptance of their fate. Heller uses Yossarian's struggle to explore the conflict between individual autonomy and the controlling mechanisms of military authority. 4. The futility of logic. Logic in Catch-22 is consistently undermined by paradoxes and irrational rules. From Milo Minderbinder's twisted justifications for bombing his own squadron for profit to Doc Danica's contradictory enforcement of rules, reason is distorted to uphold harmful systems. This inversion of logic critiques how authority often uses arbitrary reasoning to justify violence and control. 5. The loss of identity. The novel explores how war and bureaucracy strip individuals of their humanity and identity. Soldiers are reduced to their ranks and roles within the military, losing personal significance. Yossarian's battle to preserve his identity by resisting the endless cycle of missions is central to the narrative. Heller underscores how the military dehumanizes its participants, turning them into mere cogs in a larger machine. Key characters of Catch-22. 1. John Yossarian, the protagonist, a U.S. Army Air Force bombardier who is determined to escape the absurdity and dangers of war. Yossarian is both heroic and self-centered, driven by his instinct for survival. His resistance to the military's illogical rules highlights the novel's themes of individualism versus systemic control. 2. Colonel Cathcart, the ambitious commander who repeatedly raises the number of required missions, endangering his men to further his own career. Cathcart embodies the self-serving nature of authority figures within the bureaucratic system, caring little for the welfare of those under his command. Number 3. Milo Minderbinder, the mess officer who runs a vast, corrupt syndicate that profits from war, symbolizing unchecked capitalism and greed. Although he claims everyone has a share, Milo benefits the most from his exploits, often making unethical decisions in the pursuit of profit. 4. Doc Danica, the flight surgeon who upholds the infamous Catch-22 rule, embodying the heartless bureaucracy of the military. Doc Danica provides no help to the airmen, further trapping them in the irrational system. 5. Orr, Yossarian's eccentric tentmate who is underestimated by others but ultimately symbolizes hope and survival. His secret plan to escape the war becomes a significant turning point, showing resilience in contrast to the hopelessness of Yossarian's situation. Number 6. Major, a character promoted to the rank of Major solely because of his absurd name. He represents the absurdity and randomness of military promotions, further illustrating the nonsensical nature of the bureaucracy in Catch-22. Style and tone of Catch-22. The narrative style in Catch-22 is deliberately chaotic and fragmented, reflecting the disjointed and bewildering experiences of the soldiers in the military. Heller frequently shifts between different timelines, making the plot non-linear and emphasizing the confusion and disorientation of war. This style mirrors the absurdity of the situations faced by Yossarian and his comrades, where clarity and order are often elusive. Heller employs dark humor and irony throughout the novel, using them as tools to expose the irrationality of war and bureaucracy. The humor, often sardonic, highlights the tragic absurdity of the soldiers' predicament, making light of situations that are, in reality, terrifying and dangerous. This tone allows the novel to convey deep criticism of war while maintaining a comedic edge. The dialogue in Catch-22 often features circular logic and contradictions, with characters engaging in conversations that go nowhere or result in paradoxes. This reflects the novel's central theme, the Catch-22, where no action can lead to escape, no matter the logic applied. Characters like Major and Doc Danica exemplify this conversational absurdity, reinforcing the sense of helplessness in a system ruled by nonsensical regulations. Impact and legacy of Catch-22 initially received mixed reviews, but rapidly gained recognition as a modern classic, especially during the 1960s and 1970s when anti-war sentiments and countercultural movements were on the rise. Its satirical critique of war, authority, and bureaucracy deeply resonated with a generation increasingly critical of government actions, particularly during the Vietnam War. The novel became a powerful statement against the dehumanizing effects of military and governmental systems. The novel's influence extends far beyond literature, as the term Catch-22 has become part of everyday language. It describes any situation where contradictory rules or conditions create a no-win scenario. This phrase has come to symbolize the absurdity of bureaucratic institutions and the futility of finding rational solutions within rigid systems of power. The novel's cultural impact continues to resonate in discussions about authority, individual freedom, and the illogical nature of many institutional rules. Conclusion of Catch-22. Catch-22 serves as a powerful critique of both the absurdities of war and the dehumanizing nature of bureaucracy. Through Joseph Heller's satirical and darkly humorous approach, the novel highlights the irrationality, moral contradictions, and psychological toll of military life and institutional power. Its innovative narrative style, combined with its deep exploration of existential themes, makes it a significant work in American literature. Whether interpreted as an anti-war commentary, a satire on bureaucratic systems, or a reflection on human freedom and survival, Catch-22 remains a compelling, thought-provoking novel that continues to engage readers with its timeless critique of societal and institutional absurdities. 1-minute recap.